Well, the time for talking about it is over. It is time to launch this puppy. Lynda, Steele, Jody, Vance. It is Steele and Vance, and we're being heckled in the background by our guest, who we will introduce a little bit later in this program. It's Jan Arden.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the worst kept secret in the history of television. Lynda, it is a big day. It is obviously a big show, but it is a big news day. So we do start with the news, sad news, as the Queen has passed.
And you know, earlier today I was watching online and people were saying the Queen was under observation, and you started to see that this was sounding pretty grim. And then in fact she passes away, and I thought to myself, she was the head of state for 70 years. What an incredible woman. And this is not a day for anyone who says, I'm not a monarchist, I don't love the royals. This is a day to appreciate what this woman did.
I agree with you on that front. And like so many watching right now, like we've talked about today, it's a sad day because of the woman who was queen, right? She was the princess who donned that incredibly heavy crown and the load that came with it.
At the age of 25.
At the age of 25, what were you doing when you were 25?
Not being the queen.
No. And how much of a male-dominated political world she walked in as queen, and how poised and poetic and unapologetic she was about her love for horses. She loved to fish. She loved coming to BC and being an outdoors woman, you know, and she loved corgis. And anybody who knows me knows I love a corgi.
She's a corgi fan. Here's the other thing, too, is that she really ruled with grace. There were very few moments where she took a misstep. There was the one moment when Princess Diana died, and she took several days at Balmoral Castle where she didn't want to come out because she didn't quite recognize that the world was mourning Diana the way they were. But let me tell you, I had the privilege of having a face-to-face with the Queen. It didn't last for very long, but there is a photo, and this is from Edmonton in 2005. At the Alberta Legislature, and we'll put it up in a second. This is what she looked like. And I was emceeing an event for the centennial at the Legislature. We got tucked in at the very end of the line to see the Queen as she came by. And I had bought these hideous purple posies from Save On Foods and thought if they're really garish, maybe they'll catch her eye and she'll come over. There were little children practicing curtsies off to one side. We thought, Matt, she's never coming over here. And she started to go to them, and then she turned and she came straight over to me and she accepted my flowers, and I was stunned. I was wearing a radio mic because we were there for Global Television, and all I could think of to say was, welcome to Edmonton. And that was it. That is the only thing I managed to utter out of my mouth to the Queen. But let me tell you, she's a beautiful woman, clear skin. She is, like they say, a handsome woman. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but she was pretty glorious, really. I think she did a good job.
For so many of us, we can't imagine a time where she didn't exist.
I know.
I think that as a nation, now a nation of King Charles.
That makes me think of the King Charles Spaniel, the dog. I mean, King Charles is not
king.
something that I'm used to saying in my head.
Get ready, because we're going to see him on our money. I think we toast the Queen, because here's something about Steele and Vance that you need to know about. There will be wine. Open it. Here we go.
I'm going to do it
This
carefully.
is real, guys.
Yeah.
This is real. 8 o'clock. There'll be some for all of you. Don't worry, there will be. Okay, yes.
And we actually got a beautiful gift. Maybe you can get it over there from Ian McDonald with the Surrey Police Service, who wanted to say congratulations to us. Tell the story of that, Jody.
Okay, so Tina Taphouse is an Indigenous artist. I want to make sure that I show this. It is called Ready to Soar.
I love that.
The design is dedicated to our youth who overcome challenges and pressures daily. An eagle, the symbol of strength, wisdom, and courage. Tina currently resides in Langley, BC. I love Tina Taphouse. She makes the most beautiful orange t-shirt for Orange T-shirt Day. That is her mom's art. It's really special. We're going to find a place to put this on our set. But thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Tina.
You know who else we have to say thank you to? We had so many people reaching out to give us shout outs to say, way to go, Lynda and Jody, you guys rock. And we had one from probably the most famous person in British Columbia. I think we have that tape, Derek.
Hello, CHEK viewers. Premier John Horgan here, letting you in on some inside information on a new program coming to CHEK this September. Jody Vance and Lynda Steele will be bringing you topical news items and current event information. Thank goodness they're not going to be grilling me. Tune in this September. Steele and Vance, only on CHEK.
Well, that's where you're wrong, because we will in fact be grilling him at the end of the month. So stay tuned for a personal appearance from Premier John Horgan here in the studio.
I can't wait to have a conversation with him about what it's been like for him to be premier, as well as maybe some of the things that he's thinking about as he's stepping away from that role.
Yeah.
Let's cheers as we talk
To the
about
Queen.
to the Queen,
To a job well done.
Her Majesty, Her Royal Highness, who will be missed by Canadians and those across the world. Whether you celebrate the royals or not, I will sip.
And while you're doing that, we should introduce ourselves, really, because there may be people who are not familiar with us. And Jody, let's start with you, because your background is in sports.
I did start in sports. I actually started in culinary, because when I told my mother I wanted to do sports, she's like, can you have something to fall back on, please? You realize that's a male-dominated industry. I'm like, I don't care. I was listening to Jim Robson do play-by-play for the Vancouver Canucks, and I thought, well, that seems like a really good job. I could do that. And, you know, when you're watching hockey and you say something at the same time as the play-by-play person, you imagine yourself doing it. I've learned since that it's much more difficult than that.
We have some photos of Jody, so let's have a look, just in case you, see, now we remember you from breakfast television.
Right, I love doing breakfast television. My BT team were giving us shout outs. Derek Wong, who's a big part of the Steele and Vance team here. I had Vivian and Jolene, both people behind the scenes at breakfast television, say, oh, you're in great hands with Derek.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody really recognizes, perhaps the sports
He's a big
fans
soccer
too.
guy, right?
Yeah, that's John Herdman. He led the Canadian women's
Okay, a really big soccer
team
guy.
all the way to gold
Okay.
at the Olympics. And now he is leading the men's squad to the World Cup.
Go.
Yes, John
Yeah.
Herdman. So we'll have lots more guests perhaps like that. John Herdman, you're officially invited to the Steele and Vance show.
All right, let me
Let's talk
show
about
mine.
you.
We
Yes,
have a graphic
please.
from a little bit of my past. So mostly TV news for 25 years in Edmonton.
Stand by for the gorgeous. Cue the gorgeous.
Okay, here we go.
Look!
So I was CTV Vancouver's consumer host, Steele on Your Side, for many years. And then I cut my hair off into a pixie, wore my jeans, and slapped on some headphones and became the afternoon drive host of the Lynda Steele Show on CKNW.
And that's where I met you
Yeah.
because of our good friend Drex, who also gave us a shout out on social media. You can see that Drex was 96.9 Jack FM morning host. And he reached out when I was let go from breakfast television and said, you should maybe do some radio. And then you guys brought me in.
And we have a lot of interesting things to talk about today, but we also have some really interesting perspective from a famous person. And I'm pretty sure that you would recognize her. I don't know. You know, she has
Canadian
a
Hall of Fame, Music
yeah,
Hall of
maybe
Famer. She's
music,
writes books.
albums.
She's got
got
a
a
hit
CTV
TV
show.
show.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll talk about her a little bit later.
She'll be here
but
for the last half
still
hour.
ahead on Steele and Vance. Hate your daily commute. Come on, who doesn't? The BC Liberals play politics at a major choke point, the Massey Tunnel, but the Horgan government has a trick up its sleeve too. Come on back for Steele and Vance.